How's it going, everybody? Today I'm here with my friend Steven, who did over $6 million on Amazon in a single year and $1.6 million December alone, all buying and selling name brand products on Amazon. So I'm super excited to get into your journey as an Amazon seller, Steven. Let's just start with the basics, though. Let us know a little bit about yourself, maybe how you got into Amazon, kind of the early days, and we'll just go through your whole story. So, how'd you get into the Amazon game?
So I would say like in high school and even in middle school, I was flipping stuff from Ross Dress for Less. Then that evolved into going like thrift stores, flipping stuff into flea markets, auctions. Then I had that going. I was probably making like 5K a month. And then I was moving to Florida and I had to figure out how to like still not get a real job and also resell. And I stumbled across one of Warner's or Miles's videos about Amazon FBA. And I saw the light. I was like, holy crap, like I don't have to fulfill all this stuff 100% myself. I can use FBA. And then immediately I pivoted to Amazon, and then that went into retail arbitrage, and then I scaled retail arbitrage up to $75,000 a month, and then I took the roadmap, took some other things, learned, and then I was just able to scale it. A couple years after that, I was able to bring it up to $6 million last year.
That's awesome. So I'm super excited to break down your journey. A lot of people say that they look at like arbitrage or reselling, that kind of stuff. Oh, it's not scalable. You can get to a million, maybe 500,000, maybe. But I love chatting with guys like you who have proved that's not true. So early days, you're just like, you're talking like you're just literally hitting Ross. Were you selling shoes on eBay and that kind of stuff? Just like the basics. Yep. That's exactly how I started too. I remember the first time I wanted to resell something, I drove to Ross. I bought some like Nike cleats, and I think there's still some of those in my parents' closet that I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, they were like purple soccer or football cleats or something like that. Yeah. So it's awesome to see that journey as a seller. You're talking about getting into used books, retail arbitrage, that kind of stuff. Would you do the exact same thing over again? If you're a brand new Amazon seller watching this video, how is the best way to get that first sale?
I think like I still like books. I have not been in the book market for a while, but books you go so wide and deep on nothing, and and there's such a high ROI if you're willing to grind it and you're low on capital. If you don't have a lot of capital, books is the best way. Just because you buy a book for $1, you sell it for $3, you're profiting $3. It's super scalable, and like stack cash to then pivot into something really scalable would be like retail arbitrage or online arbitrage wholesale. Going out through that.
Awesome. Yeah. Were you just hitting thrift stores and all that kind of stuff? Like, how long were you doing books? I guess I didn't realize you had a long books era.
I had books for like probably 4 to 6 months. I was ripping like library sales. Oh, we're hitting library sales or hitting like back stores of thrift stores. Like I'd get in the back rooms and everything.
Perfect. Yeah, making those connections, all that. So you're selling books for a while, and then you get into retail arbitrage. Do you remember what that like first retail arbitrage item was? For any of you guys who are like brand new, he's just like going out to retail stores, scanning stuff, and flipping that on Amazon. It's a little bit more scalable because you can buy multiple units. Do you remember like that first item you found is, oh crap, like this is cool, this is real?
I remember in Walmart, and I was like, it was a dud. And then I was watching videos, just grinding. Like I probably watched hundreds of hours, miles, like at the start, just learning everything. And I stumbled across somebody's video about like grocery outlet, and I was like, I went there, I was like, holy crap, there's a lot of money to be made. And then I realized that there's 20 stores within about an hour and a half radius. I was like, all right, so if I can get 15 units from this store, 15 units from this store, now I'm sitting at 45, 50 units. And if I can do it across a ton of stores, like I can actually get volume of units. And there's multiple different products I'm getting from there versus going to a Walmart clearance where you'll find one or two of something. That's not really scalable versus I go into stores, I know exactly what I want. Like I'd be filling up pickup trucks, couldn't see out the passenger door, like the whole fun thing. But that's how I scaled up, was just hitting the same place over and over again at different locations.
That's awesome. Yeah, the like the regional grocery stores and like kind of stuff that you only have in big cities, those are always good if you guys have one of those close to you. I know a while ago, like when I was getting really started with Amazon, people were telling me about like selling like everything bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's. That was one of the items because that was like really hard to find. Like people didn't have it. And I remember seeing some videos and that kind of stuff. So take advantage of those like local retail stores, that kind of stuff. Have you like had conversations with the managers, like trying to buy stuff in bulk as well? Like how deep did you take it?
Oh yeah, I bought pallets off them. It's a retail store. I was buying pallets off them. Everybody knew me when I walked in. Like every time I go into the store, they're all independently owned and operated. So like, I would ask, can I talk to the owner? Because if I talk to the owner, talk to him, like they'd be like, oh yeah, we have more of that in the back. Or hey, do you want to see this? This is up your alley. Another question I would always ask them would be, is what are other resellers buying? The amount of times they've walked through the store with me, like, oh yeah, someone took all the dog food right here. There's one bag left. You might want to check it out. And I was like, dang, that's profitable. So then I go to the next store. I'm like, oh yeah, they have that dog food, took all of it. So I was leveraging the managers and the owners like for my business, because most resellers go into places, they don't want to talk to a single employee. They don't want to do anything besides keep their head down. Nobody knows what they're doing and walk out. Like the amount of resellers I've walked into at grocery outlet too, and they try to hide back in the day. I'm like, I'd be trying to talk to them. Like, and most other sellers haven't talked to many people. So they just want to talk about Amazon because nobody else understands Amazon when they go home, their wife, their husband, whoever it is. So they're happy to talk to you. The amount of leads and things I got just by talking to people in the stores just made so much much money.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's important to talk to other resellers. I'm sure we'll jam on that a little bit more, but you're talking about like you go back home or you're talking to the family, like you're doing what? You bought a pallet of what today? What the hell what are you talking about, bro? Go get a job, or all that kind of stuff. So you said you're getting into reselling obviously pretty young. At what point did your parents start to be like, all right, Steven, he's just going to do this reselling thing? Or were they ever trying to put pressure on you to get to do the more like traditional 9 to 5 route?
Until like I was doing like $75,000 a month. Then like she was like, all right, Steven, you could drop out of college. And I was like, I'll finish it. So then we finished college. Then she was like, I was doing like, I think 1.6 million last year. And she was like there was no way I was going to get a regular job.
Awesome. Yeah, and like you're talking about, you said you were selling on Amazon through college, obviously full-time in school. People also say they have a full-time job, that kind of thing. How are you able to like balance school and work?
So I hit a point where I was like, I don't really want to do college anymore, but I've gone so far. It was like halfway through my junior year, and like my Amazon business was picking up. I just didn't have time for college. And I was like they hire VAs for Amazon and I'm going to fully online university. How could I not hire one to do my college work? That's exactly what I did. So I fully hired out my college. So I couldn't tell you a single class, never talked to a teacher, don't even know what my work looked like. I did pass, I graduated. So the virtual assistant got me through college, and then my mom actually did try to get me to drop out. No, I'm like, I'm doing this, or almost graduated, we're through. And then I started adding virtual assistants to my own business, and then that really where I saw the hockey stick up of improvement.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I always hear people joking about like hiring somebody to help them do their homework. Some like you actually did it, and I feel like you should have been able to walk with them when you did your graduation or something like that. That's hilarious.
I did throw a college graduation party.
Hey, at least you got a little bit of acknowledgement there. That's hilarious. Yeah, sweet. You're really scaling things with retail arbitrage. Obviously, that's not going to be something you can't go out to stores and do $6 million in a year. Maybe some people are doing it, but I know that's not 100% what you were doing. When did you start to transition more to buying from bigger websites, doing online arbitrage?
So I was doing grocery outlet, like that was like my main supplier back then. And then I was moving to Florida, to Boca, and then I was like, there's no grocery outlets on here. I tried to hit some Ollie's, Marshalls. I was not having the same success as I was having with grocery outlet. And maybe I just didn't know how to do it right. And then I was like, I need to figure out online arbitrage. Like this is more scalable, and it works to an extent. It makes sense. If I'm doing it from stores, why can't I do it online? And then probably took me 3 months to get like kind of the hang of it. And then after like 6 months, I felt like I was firing on all cylinders. And I think I was doing like 100K a month, probably after 6 months of doing online arbitrage revenue.
Awesome. And when you were transitioning business models, I know that's popular, going from books to RA, going from doing OA and wanting to go and get into wholesale. You talked about it a little bit. Did you quit RA cold turkey, store goes down for a while and then it revives itself, or were you doing both while you're figuring out OA?
I guess I forgot to add this part. So when I was living in Florida, I'd fly back once a month to Pennsylvania and then fill up a pickup truck, fill up a car. Like whoever had a vehicle up there I could borrow, I was borrowing their vehicle to drive all around the stores. I would pick up inventory for 2 to 3 days, like from different stores, 15-hour days. And then I would pack for 3 days straight. And then I would fly back down to Florida.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you're flying back up for a quick work trip. You said you're filling up the passenger door. You got some nice people lending you a car you can't turn right in.
There's a lot of times I can barely make right turns.
I've seen some pictures on social media and stuff of other guys, like the entire passenger side is, I remember doing that a time or two. I was like, I can't make a habit out of this. Maybe take a second trip or something like that. But hey, it's better than the 9 to 5 for 40 years, something like that, right? You're talking about getting into online arbitrage, that kind of thing. How did you start digging through websites? What was that sourcing method that started to click? I know a lot of people watching this video, you're in that stage where they're trying to like figure out what's going to work for them. What was that strategy that worked for you?
I would say the strategy that worked for me was just like what worked and doubling down on what worked. Because if people are like, I don't know a ton about beauty, but that's not where my expertise is in. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm not great at beauty, but I'm really good at apparel. So if you get me an apparel, like I know almost all of Nike apparel. So with that being said, it doesn't really matter on if you're good at everything, just be good at a few things. And then just, if you can stay in stock on those few things, then you're able to scale so much more, because the amount of people I see that just buy something and just never restock the product, if they just kept everything in stock, yeah, some things might not be profitable anymore, but it'll come in waves and it'll probably be profitable again at some point. Those types of things, if you just kept them in stock, it's easy to hit that 100K mark. If you just gotta stay in stock and just replenish it, especially if it's like a subscribe and save or something like that.
Nice. Yeah. So stacking some of the like subscribe and save is a good one to take advantage, especially like that stuff you're trying to stay in stock in for a while. I've also noticed that like Amazon tends to give you a little bit more and more buy box if you're able to stay in stock on stuff for a long time. So there's a lot of benefits even outside of continuing to sell the same items. So when it comes to like kind of start trying to figure out how to master that niche, I like how you're talking about that, no matter what it is. And you said it's not makeup for you, which is surprising. You're not even doing your makeup, Steven. What's up with that?
Warner, you, I should have put some makeup.
Yeah, but I like that. I like that. So how should someone start to figure out what their niche is? Like, where do they get that initial inspiration from?
Like, if you know, ask you like, where do you shop? What discounts codes you use? Like, that's just a starting point right there. Or talk to another seller to see where they're hitting, how they're doing it. Because a lot of times people will tell you how they do it. And if you're able to start with that and then you build out around it, or just like you find one thing profitable on a website with one code, probably other things profitable with that code. Just like a good niche and a good website. Like, everybody wants to get good at everything, like, especially with virtual assistants. I know we'll probably touch on that in a little bit, but with that being said, like, everyone wants to get good at everything. And like, I tell my team, I'm like, don't be good at everything. Be good at one or two things, but be the best at it. Because if you're mediocre at everything, you have no advantage on the market. Versus if you're really good at one or two things, you can exploit that so much more.
Yeah, because you can look at the same item on multiple websites and be like, oh, I know $17 for this is too much, or if it's 13 today, I got to buy everything I can see. Like, you start to learn the type of things to go really deep on. And then I want to hit on virtual assistants, like how to make those beneficial networking connections. I know we talked about that a little bit. You're talking, go out and talk to the Amazon sellers, just see what they're up to. How did you go about starting to make those initial connections, and how should a new seller do the same thing?
So my thing was, when I ran out of money, like the cards are maxed, like we're out of money, I would go like full blown networking mode. And I would just be firing DMs off. If I was doing like $20,000 a month revenue, anybody doing over $40,000 a month, hey, do you want to hop on a Zoom call? And just kept firing them out over and over again, because most people want to talk to you. They post on Instagram or something, they're doing more than me. I would reach out and ask if they want to do it, get on a Zoom call and source. Most people would. And like, I still have a lot of those connections today that first started. Like, maybe I don't talk to them every day, but I still know them. So you still see them. Like, I probably hopped on Zoom calls with like 30 plus people just to talk, source, and learn. And that's like, I think that really helped me, because sourcing with somebody you enjoy talking to, in a weird way, like dating almost, just seeing who you like to source with, who you like to hang with, as someone to build the business with. Because a lot of people, you outgrow them, you change and stuff. So you're always got to be looking for the next frontier of people, and also who you're working with. And that doesn't stop at any stage.
Yeah, I like that. And like you're talking about, most people are down to talk. And I assume when you're saying like the credit cards are maxed, hey, let's get on a call, and you're showing like, hey, like, I can't buy this right now, but this is good. And they're like, oh, like, I like Steven. I'm gonna show Steven some sauce next time because he put me on game. And it's literally that simple. It's just helping each other win. And it's almost like playing video games with the friends on Discord or something like that too. Like, you're just playing real life video games where everybody's getting richer.
Yeah, it's way more fun because everyone's making actual money, not tokens.
That's awesome. Yeah. For that first initial step, like, does someone need to have that social media presence? What did that look like for you to make those first connections so that somebody can do the same thing?
If I was recommending, scroll at the bottom, my social media is still put zero effort into it. If I think of something like, wow, all right, like I should talk about it, I'll put it on there and then call it a day. I'm a one-shot one. Like, I don't care. Who cares about your broke friends from high school? They're still gonna be broke in 20 years probably. Like, people who are actually making money are gonna show their want to be in front of people, talk to other sellers, build. And that's the biggest thing. Just like, post, this is my shipment going out. Oh, I learned this today. Nobody remembers anything, how real it is. Nobody cares and nobody remembers. Just talk about it. And then you will find people who do care, who are in the same niche, that want to talk to you at the end of the day.
Yeah. Keep it simple. I like that. So we were talking a little bit about virtual assistants as well. How did you start to know that your Amazon business was ready to hire a virtual assistant? And what did that process look like for you?
So when the college was like, I don't really have to worry about it, I was like, all right, this has a lot of scalability to it, but especially in the business. So with that being said, I hired a few. They were all terrible. They all stunk at the start because I thought they know what they're doing. Oh yeah, I can do this and that. They didn't know anything. And with that being said, I had one virtual assistant who was just a pain of them wanting to learn. Like, was forced to teach him, and it's still my best virtual assistant nowadays, who he forced me to teach him how to do it. And by him doing that, he became a good virtual assistant. So I learned that like virtual assistants are almost like kids. I would assume, I don't have any, but you got to mold them like what they are. You know, if you just let them do what they want, like they're going to be bad. Same as virtual assistants. Like, you got to like walk them through what you want, like how to source. If you don't know how to source, like you're doing $10,000 a month in revenue, there's no reason you should be getting a virtual assistant because you can't source yourself to an extent. Because there's so many new sellers. Oh, I need a virtual assistant. No, you don't. And the way to know if you're doing it, probably earliest time, I would say $30,000-$40,000 a month in revenue. And a lot of people ask, when is it a good time to get a virtual assistant? There's an equation. You have time, money. If you have extra money, you don't have time, you need a virtual assistant. Have time, don't have money, and you just don't feel like sourcing, you don't need a virtual assistant, because you need to keep the money for yourself to spend on product, to grow the business to the point when you have extra capital on the side. Then it's time to bring on a virtual assistant.
Yeah, I like that. I've noticed the exact same thing hiring a team to help run my Amazon business as well. You show them, here's 2 or 3 of my favorite places to source. Here's exactly how I like to do it. Let's source together for a week. It's like, all right, you're getting it. And then we'll just keep in touch, stay up to date and that kind of stuff, right? You're showing them exactly how you like to do your favorite thing. And then you get to explore something new. I think like you're talking about, a lot of people think they can plug in a virtual assistant. It's like, oh, they're going to expand a whole new category. It's, hey, I want you to find beauty items. Go. But it's not, you need to know exactly how they're going to do it, show them the best way to do it. And it's okay. Then they'll be able to pretty easily replicate that. As far as like incentive structures and stuff like that, I always like to see how people build their team out, that kind of stuff. Do you have any like incentive structures? Like, how do you do it with your team?
They do a lot of buying, so I do share Rakuten with them because I like stuff bought immediately when I see it in stock and blinds them with me. And then I give bonuses out just whenever I feel like it. Like we crushed a month or they've done extremely well. I don't expect it. Like where they did found something crazy good, I'll throw them money just to keep them happy. If everybody's happy, everybody wins at the end of the day.
For sure, yeah. And is there any kind of like benchmarks or anything you're keeping in mind where it's like, damn, this virtual assistant's crushing it this month, or maybe I need to have a little bit of a follow-up look? Are there any like specific KPIs you keep in mind?
I don't keep any KPIs now. That will start soon. Getting to the point of we're adding on more people. It's like, all right, people do need to actually start making this kind of corporate like KPIs, have things set in stone at the start of expectations.
For sure. How big is your team these days?
On my business side, it's 2 VAs, so we keep it like pretty slim.
Awesome. Yeah, you want to make sure you got just a team full of killers, basically. Yeah, I know I definitely had too many people on my team for a while. I was like, these people are adding all like 90% of the value, and these couple are really not. And so it makes sense to make sure everybody on the team is really pulling their weight.
Exactly. And the ones you're pulling the weight, you got to reward too, because they're the ones who are really gonna treat them well. Because another seller might want to, you know what I mean? You never know, or they get unhappy.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure they're paid well. They got clear incentives, clear goals, all that kind of stuff. Sweet. And as you've been scaling the Amazon business, that kind of thing, what is one thing that maybe you did really early days that you realized you had to stop doing in order for you to really scale?
I would say prep. Prep was probably the number one thing, like outsourcing it. From the sales tax perspective of, I think I was in Florida. I forget what the sales tax is down there, but
7, 6, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, and it was like anything over like 20 or 30 bucks. I think it was like I'm paying money to work. So it was just easier setting into a tax-free place where I'm not paying sales tax at all. So that was probably the number one thing. If anybody's looking for a prep center, I do own a prep center called Big Cat Distributions. Doing over 500 units a month. Feel free to reach out. I would say prep would be the first thing. And then everything else I feel like you can get if you just talk to other people. If you and your boys are sourcing together, you guys can find the leads together. You don't need the virtual assistant off the rip. I feel like a lot of things can be done if you just talk to other sellers besides the prep part.
Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah. I'll leave a link down below if you guys are looking for a prep center. I've heard nothing but good things from Steven's Prep Center. And I like what you're talking about there. Like in my experience as an Amazon seller as well, the only two things that grow your business are buying products and talking to other people. And talking to other people is basically just something that helps you buy more products. A lot of people, they'll sit there and say, oh, I got to get ungated in 100 things before I'm like, what are you doing? Buy products, sell products, talk to people. Everything else is figured out as you go. A lot of people like tend to overthink things. And anytime I interview people like you and people who are like really scaled, that's all they're focused on is just how do I buy more products? The details come naturally.
I feel like a lot of people try to make this stuff so complex and so like black and white. It's just if you act on the inside, a lot of it's just it's so much like less than everyone thinks. It's just like literally just buying and selling products. Find a profitable, all right, we buy it. It's just how it goes. It's like people try to like, I can get 100 brands. No, you don't. I can get one brand and make $10,000 a month off of it if it's the right brand.
Yeah, exactly. So one question I like to ask everybody is, it feels a little silly with you, but I still want to go through the exercise. What do you think is holding you back from even bigger numbers right now? Like 10 million, 20 million. What's holding you back from that?
It's probably capital will be the next onboarding capital, because that becomes an issue. You grow to like getting capital at a good price, good interest rates. That becomes the next frontier of fun things to worry about.
Sure, yeah. Then you got like real business problems. That's like, you guys, if you're brand new right now watching, your problem is finding products. At some point, it becomes like having enough money to buy everything, and there's just too many opportunities everywhere. Do you remember like how long it took you to get to that stage where it's, man, if I had more money, like saying that over and over again?
I've hit a loop for a while that was like I ran that for like a year, and that I was able to like once I found that, I was like, wow, all right, now I need capital, and it was easy. I need an extra $20,000. Sounds like a lot of, I guess that is a lot of money, but now we'll spend that on a regular day. It's like nothing. But back then, yeah, I need another 20,000. All right, let's open a new credit card, get the extra $20,000, and keep scaling.
Yeah, gotcha. Did you take advantage of a lot of that as you were scaling?
No zero APR.
Okay, cool, good.
Learning about that not too long ago. I was like, wish I used that too. Was a big thing. Is it gives you a year to pretty much pay it off, and then you can always reopen new zero APRs. So it's a loop in itself.
Sure. Yeah, I'll add the caveat. Make sure you know what you're doing a little bit before you leverage debt. But yeah, that's crazy. I figured you had taken advantage of some of that scaling, so that's even more impressive, honestly.
So I'm gonna a dream.
Plummet a dream. I like it. Sweet. So what's your goal for this year, by the way? What's 10 million? What's on the horizon?
Yeah, like just above 10 million is the goal. And at the end of the year, the goal was to be doing 1 million a month in revenue. So yeah, it's just pushing toward it. Mixing in some wholesale. It's hard to scale OA to a crazy amount. Like 25 million a year would be, I know people who do it, but that's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, a lot of people would say that you can't even get OA to 6 million a year, and you're shooting for 10 and think it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, like it's 99.95% OA. Like I do barely any wholesale.
Yeah, that's awesome. Taking advantage of all that. For that guy or gal they're watching, they've got $0 in sales. They've got maybe $1,000 in sales. What's that next 1 or 2 most important steps they can take to get more serious about selling on Amazon today?
$1,000 or $2,000. You said right.
Yeah, they're just getting started. Maybe they've made a couple sales, they've sold nothing. What's that next most important thing they can do?
Talk to people and just get started. If you have $1,000 or $2,000, you don't want to use debt. Just stack cash, however you have to do it. If you have $1,000 or $2,000, it's like whatever gives you that highest ROI. Even Amazon stuff, to flipping stuff on eBay, whatever it takes you to get to $10,000 in liquid cash. Because running stuff more on cash base is so much easier than just like running off a card. Because like at the start, a lot of my business was ran off of cards. I didn't have that much money. I was in college. So versus now, where there's a lot of money in the business, it's easier. Like I don't have to immediately pay. I don't have to 100% sell through all that inventory to pay the card off. I have other capital sitting there, which makes it a little easier for me. I'm not like as like scared. Oh my gosh, I need to pay that card off. You probably know what I mean by that. It's hard to express.
I've only done that once. I'm a little more risk averse than you, I think. I ever leveraged one time. I don't like this. I'm gonna just spend what I have in cash already.
The dream one time was $100,000. I had $2K in my account.
You said that was a dream?
It was just a plum card in a dream. All I had, made it through. Never a late payment.
That's some high risk growth right there, but it paid off, right? Sweet. So for somebody who's watching, if they want to reach out asking questions, follow you on socials, where can they find you?
Steven Does Business is my personals. I really only check Instagram, and then Big Cat Distributions if you're looking for any prep services. And I know Warren said he'll plug a link. So
absolutely. Yeah, I'll drop the link for those down below. Awesome. Appreciate you taking the time, Steven. Let us know down below if you guys found this valuable. Drop any questions, comments, anything like that. We really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks again, Steven. And I will see you guys again next time.